Hi, everybody. Sam here. I am so excited to have this micro interview today. You'll notice on the screen there's not one guest, but two. And usually we don't have men on the micro interviews, but Jesse is allowed because he's here with Irina, his wife. And I'm so excited. We got connected through school where I host Safe Art Connections. And we had a little pre-interview a couple of weeks ago, and I got to meet them and hear their heart of what they're trying to do. And I was like, okay, yeah, well, I definitely need to interview you, and Jesse needs to come because it's the power of them together where I think the magic really happens. So if you're new to Safe Art Connections, we are so glad you're here. We're so glad you found us. If you have been around for a while, we're glad you came back. I believe that you can create any life or business that you love, one choice at a time. And maybe something we share on this micro interview today is something that'll help you get from where you're at to where you want to be next. You don't have to do all the things, but pick one thing to move you forward. And if you continue doing that, you'll get where you want to go. So Jesse, Irina, welcome. I'm so glad y'all are here. I would love it if you would share what I like to call your superhero origin story, just to introduce yourself to everybody watching.
Yeah, absolutely. So our superhero origin story, if I'm understanding correctly, it would have to do with we are a product of our product, and our passion arises from the Goliath that we conquered in our own lives, which was long extended singlehood.
Yeah.
I myself was born and raised traditional old order horse and buggy Amish in northern Indiana, and left at the age of 30, and for another 10 years was single. And we discovered a very simple process that was laid out by a couple that we are now very close friends with and working alongside, who guided us towards getting married. And through full immersion training and coaching and mentorship, they showed us how to do what they do. And we started our own community for singles. And here we are today.
Yes.
Helping others achieve what we ourselves achieved in the path that we walk.
So if you haven't guessed yet, we help singles prepare for marriage and get married successfully, find the person of their dreams and that they're aligning with on their mission, on their vision, and walking together, yoked together, achieving what they're here to do on earth while we are sent by our Heavenly Father. And so I grew up in Russia and moved to the States in 1997 with my whole family, and also been single most of my life. And that's something that's kind of been on my heart to shift, to change, to do the thing that's, it feels like a hard thing to do, and yet it's not that hard. So after lots of dating experiences, I realized that I had some struggles and I could not go further into marriage. So some things that, as Jesse mentioned, that we got introduced to our friends, mentors who are friends now and business partners. They had a single to married course where we joined in learning who we are, our identity, how to overcome fears, which I had a fear of not only commitment, but getting married to a wrong person and then getting stuck with that person and not knowing how to create the marriage of my dreams. So they helped us to overcome those things. And because of that, we got married. We actually met each other through that community, got married.
That's what that was going to be my question, actually. So I wasn't sure if y'all were already a couple and then you found this mentorship, these coaches, or if you met while you were in the.
Yeah, we've met in the community. So that's so dear to us. That's why we have the community for singles now, where they can be safe and meet as friends, develop the friendships first, and then learn how to move to the next stage of their life. And
I always like to add that whatever reason singles present to us as a reason not to work with us is the very thing that we'll start working on.
Yeah.
So there is nobody exempt. Somebody doesn't believe in marriage, or they're not ready for marriage,
Yeah.
or waiting on God, all of the above. That's where we start. That's what we work on. That's what we overcome. That's what we grow and develop. So we meet people where they are with like no expectations or judgment. We just meet them where they are, love on them, and they just follow the process and let God's word do what it does best. It just changes and transforms us from the inside out just by sheer exposure and being in a supportive environment and an encouraging community where everyone's in the same boat and they're growing together, making friends in the process, and we uncomplicate the complicated.
Yeah.
The number one challenge that we found that singles find themselves in is it looks like this big complicated and we uncomplicate it and make it simple, where we reduce the chances of those messy, heart-wrenching breakups.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go through a breakup. You just made a friend in the process of looking for the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And it doesn't have to be awkward with all those that you connected with in the past. How we do that's our little secret within the community, but it works.
Yeah. You don't have to tell your secrets.
Yeah.
They can join, and if they're interested, they can definitely join. I'll tell you, when I think I shared with you that I had been married and divorced multiple times and finally got remarried. It's been 2 years ago, May, after working with a relationship coach for a while. And so my husband and I, we actually met in a singles group for people over 50, which I was only 49 at the time, but they let me. But we got to meet and go and hang out and go do things. It wasn't a dating group. It was really an activities group. So the model that you teach, I really believe in, because I got to see how he showed up, how he treated people, what he did before I ever decided I was like interested as he was interested in me. And so I really believe in that model for sure. And then I love that you say whatever they say that they're not, like they can't do it because of this. That's where you start, because that is the holdup for most people. That's just legit. That's very smart. So one of the things I love about doing these micro interviews is how diverse the conversations are and how we can go in so many different directions, knowing what y'all do. I am interested for you to share your tip, thought, or piece of advice that we typically share on these things. And I'm really curious what it's going to be. What do you think? What are you going to share that will really impact everybody watching or listening today? Because one new thing you learn can truly change your life. Now, I'm excited for y'all to share.
Well, the first thought that comes to me is what we are most passionately studying now, and has to do with the tree of life perspective on life in general, is what we use to uncomplicate decision making. And the tree of the knowledge of good and evil focuses on right and wrong, good and bad. Is this the right choice or the wrong choice? And the tree of life is about balance. We appreciate the darkness in the evening and we appreciate light in the morning. And it's about cycles and balance in everything. And we pursue the tree of life. We don't need to know what the tree of the knowledge of good and evil has to say in decision making. Any decision is better than no decision. And to not make a decision is the definition of stuck.
Yeah.
And if you make a decision, it's like putting the sail up on your sailboat so the wind of the Holy Spirit can hit the sail and create motion so that the rudder will even work for the Lord to have something to steer. And so making decisions in faith creates motion that moves you forward, that the Lord can then course correct you, rather than a parked or a boat tied at dock, not making any decisions, or dare I say, sometimes thinking we're in motion when we're actually tied at the dock. We help singles discover whether their sails are up or down.
Yeah, that's so good. Irina, before I give some feedback, do you have any follow-up or anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I would echo what Jesse said, is taking action, making decisions, taking ownership in things, and take responsibility. That's very important. And we just sometimes we feel like because we made mistakes in life, the next step might be a mistake again. Not always, right? We can always learn and say that anything that we mess up on, it's a lesson to learn. And then we move on and still make that next step.
And the one liner I would use to sum up what we both shared would have to do with clarity comes through making a decision or getting into motion.
Yes.
If you lack clarity, what can you take action on now? What decision can you make that's in front of you? And clarity follows that, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Oftentimes
That
we
is so
desire
true.
clarity before moving forward, but actually in God's kingdom, clarity comes after the action step of faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's a pastor that I used to listen to a lot. One of the quotes he said was, most people end up somewhere, but very few people end up somewhere on purpose. And so taking that action to be able to move forward, and when you make the choice and then get that clarity, you can say, oh, I need to go this way, or I need to go this way. And I've also heard people say, nothing falls in your lap unless your lap is out there,
So,
right? You have to be doing something.
yeah.
And the clarity comes when you do something. And that's in life, that's in business, that's in relationships. I'm in the middle of refocusing my other company, my admin company, in a different direction. And we've been pivoting and trying to figure that out for 9 or 10 months now. And I get close and I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. And I'm like, oh, that's not it. And I go a little bit more and a little bit more. We're finally launching it. And so if I had just thought, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, and just sat on my hands and not tried anything, then I wouldn't be no closer to the goal at all.
Even a bad decision is still feedback for the next better decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I committed to doing my morning routine consistently every day this month. And I just finished day 7 yesterday. One of the things I've noticed with this is I'm actually going outside. We live in a small space in an RV, and I don't go outside very often. We're in Texas, it's hot. And so in the morning I go, and it's usually just a few minutes. But while I'm out there, I've been noticing things, and it's only because I've slowed down enough to be intentional. One of the things that came to me that I shared on social media was basically, do you have the courage to fail? Yeah. Because you're not always going to bat a 1,000 or whatever it is. I was going to say 100, but I think it's 1,000. And you're not always going to hit a home run. But if you continue swinging, continue going down the path, then you can continue to make adjustments as you go. But if you never ever start, you're never going to get there. And being okay with failing is part of the process.
Yeah.
We couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I appreciate both of you. And I know that the women watching are going to hopefully take some action. Maybe, what I say is you can build a life you want, one choice at a time. And that choice is action, right? You have to do something to make the choice. And I used to say, and I didn't change this based on the tree of good and evil or the tree of life, but I actually had a coach kind of softly help me reframe this. I used to say, make the next right choice. And they were like, what if you just made the next choice that helped you get where you were going?
Yeah.
The next choice that serves you well. Right? So it's not right or wrong. It's just the next choice. And then you can pivot. You don't have to, it's okay. It's okay to change your mind.
Yeah. One thing that I was going to add to what we shared earlier, it just keeps circling in my mind how in our day and age right now, dating is pretty much if you're going out for coffee one time or twice, you're already dating. And that is scary for a lot of people because they think, okay, now I'm stuck and now I need to commit to this. And there's a lot of times that if you go back to how things used to be, it used to be happening in the community, in the groups of people where you get to know each other, like you shared. You were in a singles group that was not for dating, but activity group. If you go to different activities, get to know a person, you can get to know them better that way because they're real. They're going to be themselves. And that's something that we lost along the way. And we love bringing that back into our lives right now, into singles' lives, so that they can get to know other people without failing in a way. Because it feels if you date somebody and then you break up, it's a failed relationship. But we don't have to go that route. We can just be there with people, honor them, get to know them as a friend, and then choose the one that is the closest to you.
Yeah, and what I hear you saying is you're not making it to where you're attached to the outcome. You're living your life. I like to say I was living my life and I was going to see who came alongside me here because I wasn't going to try and pull somebody along. And so anyway, our story is pretty special, just that he never planned on getting married again. And I kept picking the wrong people. Like I knew I wanted to be married, but I was my picker was broken. And so then I went and did the work I needed to do to heal around that. And and then he proposed to me at the place we met, which was that we met at a singles group. He planned an event on our 1-year anniversary and invited a bunch of people. And I thought we were just having an anniversary thing. I truly didn't know he was proposing. I knew it could have been a possibility, but he truly surprised me. It was super sweet. And then we actually got married in a river in Texas, in the water. And so life is still life. We still have ups and downs. Like it's not like everything's perfect. But I know that I truly love who he is as a person. And so even if we're in a place where something's harder, that doesn't change the fact that I love him as a person. I know I could never say that about anybody else I was ever with. So
that's amazing.
Anyway, this wasn't the Sam interview. This was
so hard. Yeah. We get it. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
so now
sure.
you have a good knowing or good picker.
Yeah. Yes, I have the ability to know myself and know what matters to me.
Yeah.
And know that this is
important.
Very important. Do y'all have any closing thoughts before we wrap up today? I want to make sure I honor everybody's time and get them what they needed.
Absolutely. I did have a really profound one earlier, but now it escaped me. But I do have this.
Okay, go ahead. Tell
What
me.
makes us unique from what we call other matchmakers, so to speak, is that we work as a couple and as a team, and we represent what we create in this. And then we also provide ongoing indefinite support on into marriage for those that we do help to get married. So it's not like we just throw them out into the water and, okay, wish you luck. No.
I still coach with my relationship coach. And because there's things that come up and I'm still learning to navigate this, even though we've been together now for over 4 years. I'm still navigating who he is a person and who I am, and who we are today is different than we were yesterday.
Yes.
So things happen. And so I truly believe that we were not built to do life alone. We were built for community, connection with God and each other. And you try and do life on your own. I can't speak for everybody else. I know personally, anytime I got in trouble in life, it's when I tried to do it by myself. So I love that y'all build that into your component of what you offer.
And on that note, I did think of that thing that I was going to share earlier. It might seem somewhat abstract, but it's very powerful. It's a revelation that I just grabbed a hold of the other. It has to do with how money turns spiritual when it's released in God's kingdom. And I was wondering to myself, what makes or what causes money to be so explosively powerful in blessing whenever we donate it toward a ministry, a missionary, the tithing to our church, or gifting it to somebody? It's profound blessings often follow that. Why is that? And immediately I felt dropped in my spirit is because it exited the world system and entered into my kingdom. And so when we sow finances into our own personal growth and development for kingdom purposes, we have a kingdom why behind sowing into our own personal growth and development for education, coaching, or the breakthrough. That's a niche specific break. It has just as much of a powerful breakthrough impact in our own personal life as if we sowed it here or there. And so when you sow money into yourself, your personal growth for kingdom purposes, it exits the world system and enters God's kingdom.
Yeah,
And
that's so good.
it's you sowing into yourself. And I just like to speak to all of the singles listening to this, that you're worthy of sowing into yourself, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah. That is so good. We may need to have a part 2 just about that. So I really have enjoyed our chat, and I'm sure, ladies, hopefully that you've seen Irina in the community. You've commented and posted some. I've appreciated that engagement. So she's in the community. If you want to reach out to her, look for her in the community. We'll also have their social medias around this video, wherever you're watching or listening, so you'll be able to get connected to them. And I am truly honored to have spent time with y'all. Your energy is so peaceful and calm. And when you first came on, I made a comment about how you just look like you're connected,
Yeah.
right? It's
That's what
just
we
part of
produce.
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah, we're
absolutely beautiful. I'm happy to know you.
Thank you, Sam. We're grateful to be here and to serve and to help others to become what they want to become.
Very good. I'll see y'all later.
All right.